sir. Yes, sir. Once again, we is back. We three kings. Big A, King, Big Willie Styles. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Everyone except for Ryan Garcia, of course. Oh man. Listen, we back again for another sports weekend review, man. Of course, man, we're gonna bring y'all the hottest of the content. King, man, how was your weekend, brother?
Man, man, a lot of surprises, man. Starting with last night, that gut punch was crazy. But obviously, we all got Lions hats on, right? So the biggest news, obviously, was the gambling situation, man, with our I can't even say rookie no more, our sophomore in J Mo.
Yeah, so we got to talk about it. Of course, the news over the past weekend is the suspensions and the suspensions definitely of a few players due to gambling issues. J Mo and four of the Lions players, plus the one guy from the Commanders. Well, J Mo and another receiver, Ben Hill, was suspended for 6 games, and of course CJ Moore and Cephas was suspended indefinitely for the season for gambling.
And some staffers.
And some staffers were fired and suspended and let go as well for the situation. So, got to talk about that for a little bit. So, King, how you feel in regards to the suspension when it comes to J-Mo?
Man, first and foremost, the rule is it's petty. It's a petty rule, man. When you look at you deep dive into the situation on how it happened, I'm not really 100 with the way that the rule is set up. But it is a rule. And you didn't see other players around the league making the same mistake. So you got to put that blame on the players. They should know better. They go through extensive training when they get drafted into this league. They know what they should and shouldn't be doing. So got to give that to J-Mo and the other players, man. They should know better.
They did. What you feel about that, Big A? I know, man, we talked about it over the past weekend.
Yeah, my thing about it is like, these guys get their rule handbooks and all of that, right? You can't be doing what you shouldn't be doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, they got to take some accountability on themselves, man. It's like, it's one of those things when it comes to the drugs and gambling and involvement with the police, man. You already know what route where that's going to end for you. So
yeah, most definitely. Yeah, because for me, I take it as the same situation where when people will talk about how these players used to get suspended for marijuana use, and a lot of guys feel like, well, marijuana is legal, you need it, a lot of guys use it for recovery, and a few of our Lions players, have been known to say this. I use it even before the game started, but rules are rules. And like your boy Stephen A. say, lay off the weed if it's going to cost you games and money. And it's the same going with the gambling thing. Now, for me, I see it. Of course, every one of us, including guys watching the show now, everybody got those little apps. They don't really think nothing of it. You do your little parlays and make your little bets. So, yeah, it seems like something that's light, in which I feel that will be changed eventually over time. But like you said, King and Big A, rules are rules, and you got to abide by them until they change it. And with them being suspended coming off of last season, where he was only available for the last couple of games and only had one reception, it makes it a different situation going forward now as far as like what the Lions should do organization wise, whether or not they go ahead and make moves in the draft or stick with what they have. So, King, what you feel that the Lions, in regards to this situation, which we are down a couple of receivers already, what should be the next step?
I think they always were going to take a look at a receiver, but I think they may just do it a little bit earlier now. You're probably somewhere in that second round. They probably go and get a receiver. Listen, it's 6 games. We know how this league goes. The good teams, they start to play after right around that mark, around that 6-game mark. When you head into that bye week in that situation, that's where you hit that stride. So, like I said, it is a devastating blow. But I think when it comes to the draft, I think we stay the course, at least with the first round picks. And I think we continue to look at defense. I don't think they're going to pull a gun and go receiver with the 18th pick. I think we still looking at somewhere around the second round where they may consider bringing in a guy.
Maybe so. What you feeling about that, Big A?
You on mute.
The thing I was saying also, I think the Lions was going to look for a receiver in this draft, no matter what. But what people got to remember is we can't rush and go get another first round draft pick and be paying him first round draft pick money too. And we have a lot of guys like DeAndre Swift, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Those guys are coming up on their contract years to get paid. So I don't see us trying to hurry up and go get a receiver. Um, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, well, dang, J Mo, that you put us in a hard place. You better make up for it. You know what I'm saying? So I think the Lions are still going to stay the course. I think I might be looking at a tight end, for sure a little earlier, depending on, you got a Darnell Washington and somebody there fall there.
Which I doubt he would, but for me, I agree with you guys. I think a lot of, like you said, I guess, fans was hitting that panic button,
Yeah.
operating off of emotion when they first heard it. But you got to realize, I would say this, on the lighter side, at least it's 6 games for suspension and not 6 games for injury.
Right.
Because then
Yeah,
injury,
for sure.
you got to work some things out to get him back into track. At least he still be able to practice. He still be able to have a preseason as well, because he's not going to be, he's going to be able to play during the preseason, even though he's suspended for those games, which is what he needs. And I feel that, he's going to need to play in all 3 of these preseason games that we have so that he stays fresh and stay ready for when he's returned. There's a possibility that he could do an appeal, maybe able to get it reduced. If not, like I said, 6 games, it's something that I believe we've already been kind of prepared for, because, like I said, we was doing it without him last season. It just would have been much more dynamic of a weapon to have available earlier on in the season that could carry momentum on. So it's definitely something to look out for, what the Lions is going to do, and especially with the draft, because guess what, fellas? The draft is here.
Yeah.
It is time. It is time, fellas.
It is draft
this Thursday, we are entering the draft atmosphere, man. And I know we've been anticipating it for the last couple of months.
week.
We got to get ready for it. Of course, W3KINGZ is going to be live in effect when the draft is coming about, man. So are you fellas excited, man?
Man,
Oh yeah.
I'm beyond ready to get this on, man. It's the next step. I'm ready to get this on. I'm ready to we can get into this summer, man. We can head into training camp with these new pieces. And yeah, I'm definitely excited. I just want to say another thing though about J-Mo. It might turn out to be a blessing in disguise, to be honest. You'll have a young, hungry, fresh guy ready to go into the second half of the season. It gives him an opportunity to sit there and really think about, hey, man, I need to take this thing serious because it can be wiped away. You know what I'm saying? So maybe you correcting 2 things with that situation. Then, like I said, you got a fresh guy like J-Mo, second half of the season where a lot of teams already bruised and battered and beat up. I'll take that rather than a year suspension.
Most definitely. I agree with you on that one, King. So with that being said, like I said, with him being refreshed, like I said, we got the draft coming up. Y'all feel like y'all ready to give y'all final takes on what the Lions doing with the draft, or are you still up in the air?
Man, I'm not even up in the air. I don't know what the heck we do, man, because it's so many possibilities. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? They can do this. This player can fall here, or this team can take a quarterback there, or I can't put my finger on it, man. It's literally a dice roll. It's a domino fall thing. That's just how it is.
But if you had to do it, let's start from the top. We got the number 6 pick. Did any trades where you feel like it's going to be leaning towards?
Defensive line, period.
Okay.
D tackle, D end, one or the other. To me, it's either Jalen Carter or Tyree.
Okay.
At this point,
sounds like some feasible option. What about you, Big A?
I think it's gonna be Jalen Carter, and if not Jalen Carter, I think they draft back, get more picks. That's what I think.
Okay. So for you, it's kind of like Jalen Carter or bust, in my opinion.
yeah.
Well, it's just the thing about it is if we don't get Jalen Carter up there, there's gonna be some teams that's gonna be thirsty to move up in that spot. You know what I'm saying? And I think the Lions can mess around and get a first and a second round pick in this draft. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that is a strong possibility, but
yeah.
there have been talks, about the Lions trading up, getting into that spot where Arizona
Here
is.
you go. Here you go. You believe anybody?
Listen, I ain't saying I believe it. I'm just saying it's speculation.
Smoke signal.
Exactly.
It's speculation that they might.
The sky's purple outside, Willie. Go take a picture of it.
But listen. You got to put it out there. If you hear this, that's what speculation is. You never know. Like you said,
The Lions ain't trading up nowhere.
Now listen, the Brad Holmes, he has shown that he'll do it. He will do it.
He did it last season.
He took a real gutsy move last draft.
He ain't moving no top 10 though. He ain't moving in no top 10.
But
I think you think if he make a move, it'll be with the first rounder.
Well, I think my thing is, as far as like I said, if we don't get Jalen Carter at 6, I can see us moving back. I don't. What is we moving up for?
Right.
I mean, it's a guy out there from Alabama that a lot of people like.
Man, please, ain't nobody moving up for him.
Yeah, well, see, that's a
man. The guy that disappeared this year. That guy. Oh, okay.
He didn't disappear. He won Defensive Player of the Year. What are you talking about disappearing?
Yeah,
he won the award.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, he won College Defensive Player of the Year.
Accolades, smaccolades, man.
No, don't knock it down, you guys, because it matters. It matters because, like I said, the situation with Jalen Carter, like you said, King, Tyree Wilson out of Texas has been on a lot of people's lips as well, and also we got to factor in as well. There's going to be some other teams that may be looking to trade into those spots too. There's been a lot of
man had 10 sacks last year. You bragging about him winning Defensive Player of the Year.
You act like 10 sacks is not a lot of sacks there, especially when he's going. It's the same situation that happened with Hutchinson. You knew he was coming, but you still couldn't block him. He still got 10 sacks, man. You can't knock 10 sacks. That's double-digit numbers.
I'm not in the building. I mean, I'm not in the business of I'm not talking any smack about Will, but like I said, I'm not moving up to get him.
Right.
If he's there, he's there. But
you never know. We also got to factor in not just the Lions moving up, but other teams moving up to try to get one of those quarterbacks too.
Yeah,
and that could change.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying. If we can't get what we get, you're gonna have somebody thirsty to try to get one of these quarterbacks.
Yeah, most definitely. And this is a quarterback-driven league. So, we got 4 guys that's, everybody's been talking about in the quarterback position. And we got a couple of teams like Arizona and Seattle. And that's another one, too, we got to pay attention to. Is that number 5 spot with Seattle, whether or not they're going to draft a quarterback or
my true opinion, Willie, is they going to take Jalen. That's my true opinion.
Ooh,
Seattle Seahawks is an organization known for taking that type of player.
That's true, but let me ask you this then, because if you say Arizona is going to get Will, and Jalen Carter is going to be taken by Seattle, that leaves Lions next, and there's going to be possibility. There's going to be a couple of quarterbacks available.
Shut up. Shh.
I gotta say it. I had to say it. I had to say it now.
This is what I'm talking about. This is the history.
You got an Anderson. You got the boy out of Kentucky that could be sitting there. Do you think the Lions want to pull that trigger and grab them a quarterback with that pick?
Boy, if they drafted Anderson, I'll fall out of my chair, man. I'll fall out of my chair. I don't want to get him at 6. At 6? I mean,
Anderson. What do you mean? You mean Richardson?
I mean Richardson. I'm sorry, I said good Lord. Not at 6 though. No. Like man, not after what I watched on tape. No.
Not at 6 though. Maybe a little further down if you could, but not at 6, huh?
Not at 6, bro. I just don't.
I agree with you on that one, man. I don't think that he's ready, and we have other needs. At that, other than drafting the quarterback at this point in time, because like I said, we got a solid quarterback right now, so we don't need to jump out the window to try to do it. Like To be honest with you, I like the quarterbacks, but none of them moved me enough to say, "Listen, we need to grab him right now." If it's not Bryce Young, to me, then it's not any one of those other quarterbacks that I would be jumping out the window to grab. So we got a brother on the line. We got the boy DC1 in the building. What's up with you, man?
What's up, fellas? How y'all feeling, man? Hey, I hope y'all had a wonderful weekend.
D313XP. What's happening,
brother?
man?
Let's go. How was y'all weekend, man?
Oh man, weekend was pretty good, man. Like I
Pretty
said,
good.
We watched the fight last night. You know, some of us had a great weekend. Some of us. Hey, listen, I have to admit, y'all. I did have a slight little. I was actually had Garcia. I was going with Garcia just a
Really?
little. Yes, I gotta admit it. I said Garcia. If like I said, me and Big A, we discussed it. I'm like, if Garcia can let this go the distance, he had a great chance. So I was like, you know what? I was pulling towards Garcia, but after last night, listen, Tank has solidified himself as one of the top, if not the no one pound for pound boxers right now. So it was definitely a fun watch.
Yeah, most definitely a fun watch. Like I said, I just lit up after that, man. Like, come on, bro. He got up. We got it. Well, he took the hit and then he went back and he kneeled down. I said, what's happening? Like, what's going on? I'm like, this brother got a boo-boo.
He couldn't get that air back in them lungs, boy. That kidney shot is something epic.
Speaking of boxing, Big Willie.
Yeah.
Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, they actually talking for the first time. It's like now it's like, okay, it's not as fresh as it was before. It's like now I was like,
you know, that's the irritating thing about boxing is the fact that, and that's why boxing is down the way it is because of all the promoters and the antics that's going on, and we got to wait 4 or 5 years to see what we really wanted to see. You know, the Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, and the Tyson Fury, that trilogy should have been going on these last several years, and we missed out on those great opportunities. And you see what happened. You know, it's waiting this long, and then boom, Anthony Joshua, he takes a loss or two during that time frame, which diminishes.
Hold on, don't just scroll past that. You got dropped by Ruiz, man.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the context on that, man?
Right.
What's the context on that?
And that you know, that killed the momentum too. And then with the trilogy with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, in which Fury just, you know, the third time just demolished, you know, Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
It took the
showed him what boxing was.
Basically, it took you know, it took some pizzazz off of what that heavyweight division could have been if they was done right. So with them, yeah, I would like to see that because, like I said, that's been like 4 or 5 years overdue. But I think boxers just gotta get back to these fighters being the fight again, man. It's just last night, you know, we was excited for that fight, but we need more like that. Like another one that we should keep waiting on. We got Earl Spence and Crawford. Like them two need to get in that ring, man. We don't need to keep waiting 4 or 5 years when somebody might slip up and Lord forbid somebody might get hurt or something like that. We need these fights now, man. And boxing is really taking its toll, man. So talk is cheap was what I'm trying to say, Ken. I don't want to hear no more about the talking. Let's get these matches on the road.
They all just like to look at their pretty records. That's all it is.
Right.
Yeah. And whose fault is that? Whose fault you say that would be, Big A, with these pretty records?
Mayweather.
There we go. DC, man.
Go ahead.
What you?
No, I was about to say, speaking of records, man, I wanted to ask y'all this before we head to this draft. Now, everybody got us pegged to win the division. We have not in a while gave a early prediction on the Lions' upcoming season. Right now is a good time to do that with the early season prediction. Now, everybody's getting behind the Lions. All of these major sports outlets, I think teams are actually going to get up for the Lions now. So, with that said, my early prediction for the season, I'm going with 10. I'm still going with 10-7. Now, what you think, Big A?
I was gonna say 10-7, 11-6. That was gonna be my around
I'm rolling with my boy 0-16. I'm going 12-5, baby. I'm gonna go ahead and put it out at 12-5. That's what I'm gonna call it on that one. Man. I think they got a great opportunity.
Pull your mic back some, DC1.
There we go.
I'm gonna go 11-6.
You being safe, man. You being safe.
I'm going 11-6.
11-6. Well, that's still good. That's still good.
I mean, you gotta look to it. I think the Lions, they playing the AFC West division this year, so they're gonna be playing Kansas City in that so-called tough division. Playing the NFC East, one NFC West team, one AFC North team. I think they play Baltimore, from my understanding. So they could go 11-6. I can see it, 11-6. And I think they'll go 5-1 in the division.
Yeah, yeah. As far as the division go, I think they do win the division.
Oh yeah,
sure.
That's most definitely. But yeah, I'm just gonna stick with that 10-7, man. Because like I said, the alert signal is out. You know, teams is like, okay, we gotta actually we're going to full game plan when we play the Lions. It's not like a mark on the calendar no more.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get up and we got to be ready, man, because these dudes is feisty and they hungry. So that's going to make the battle a little bit tougher there. You're going to be treated as one of the top teams in the league now. You're not going to be treated as, oh, it's a surprise. That element of surprise is over with. We know who you are now. So they definitely going to game plan and try to bring their best against the Lions. So that's why I'm going to stick with that for at least for right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Willie?
I'm still going with 12-5. I don't care what y'all say. It's up there and stuck there. And I heard Daryl say 5-1 in the division. Who the one loss that you would get the Lions to in the division right now?
It ain't the Green Bay. It ain't Chicago.
Vikings.
The Vikings.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. Yeah, they may lose one in the division, but
see, like when you look at the Lions schedule, right? I'm looking at them now. Home games, of course, you know the division: Chicago, Green Bay, Minnesota, Denver. We beat Denver. Atlanta, we beat Atlanta. The Panthers, we should beat them. Raiders, we should beat them. Seahawks. Okay, I can see that. Then away games: Chicago, Green Bay, Minnesota. Yeah, Kansas City. That's gonna be a tough one. New Orleans, we should win that one. The Chargers, that'll be a tough one. Then the Buccaneers, the Cowboys, and the Broncos. That 12-5 don't look too bad.
Nah.
Well, let me say this. What you said about they at New Orleans, right? They at New Orleans. If they at New Orleans, that's up in the air with that because in New Orleans they play tough at home for some reason, man.
Yeah, but Drew Brees ain't there.
Yeah, we're gonna beat their ass.
Don't worry about that. Anyway, they got Derek Carr over there.
I was about to say, listen, they got Derek Carr starting over there.
And then the defense gonna want to give Jamal Williams a hard time, so the defense gonna show up to play that game. I'd say 11-6, 12-5. I ain't mad at it.
It's a great possibility, man. Listen, I'm going the high end this time.
So can we all agree from 10 to 12 wins?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Anything less is a disappointment, especially coming off of what 9-8 this past season.
Mm-hmm.
A 10-win season is like we supposed to be improving each season. Am I correct?
Right.
So it shouldn't be less than 9 games that we should win. So yeah, from 10 to 12 is feasible. It's not it's not a stretch. Me said 12-5, basically looking like you said, Big A, with the schedule that we have, especially in the division. It's a great possibility we go undefeated in the division. Right. And like you said, a lot of those games playing up against the NFC East, and I know we're playing against the AFC West. That's gonna be where the toughness come from, coming out of playing that division. But yeah, 11-6, 12-5, 10-7 at the worst. And I think if we are 10-7, to me, I feel like that would be a disappointment in the season. We still probably make the playoffs, but to me, I feel like 10-7 would be a disappointment, especially where we came from.
Well, you can't say that because if they make the playoffs, it can't be a disappointment. Come on now.
I mean, well,
Don't get too bougie on me now.
I ain't been too bougie.
Don't get too bougie on me now.
I just got a little high expectations. I'm trying to raise my expectations because I'm usually like for the past couple of years, King and Big A know I never make Lions predictions until recently, and I stuck with it because I was always with the Lions. You don't know what's going on. I was a game by game guy. I just didn't want to do it because I was always disappointed. But now, because I feel like this regime is turning a new leaf, I'm turning a new leaf, and I'm going to go ahead and put myself out there.
Yeah, we don't make the playoffs, the city going to explode next year.
Oh, yeah.
Playoffs, then the draft going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's going to be an exciting time in the city, man, for the Detroit Lions. I mean, we can't wait. But everything starts with the draft. Now, Daryl, I don't think we got your input on this draft, man.
I would say that. I'm going to say this: we're not going to go ahead and get a quarterback. You know, all the people talking about, should we trade up and the 6th or the 18th? No, we don't trade up, man. Like you said, go get some defensive guys. If Jalen Carter falls down to us, it fall down to us. But I would not be surprised if Will Anderson fall down to the 6th pick. I won't be surprised. But I don't think he will, though. I think Will Anderson is going to end up with the Houston Texans. That's my personal belief. He's going to end up with Houston. With DeMeco Ryans as a head coach, he's defense. He don't be surprised. He end up with the Houston Texans.
So that means that CJ Stroud may slide, man.
It could be a possibility. We see how the draft works, man. You see the surprises, man, come out of nowhere, man. So I mean.
It's funny because you remember CJ Stroud was leading, and then these last couple weeks, I don't know what happened. Bryce Young just took it over again.
It's time, Big A, because like I said, CJ Stroud was leading when he was throwing at the combine, so everybody was excited to see off of that, and you didn't see Bryce Young. But then a little week or so later, a couple weeks later, you seen what Bryce Young doing. But now that everybody is settled in and let the hype die down, you start to see Bryce Young coming out as the number one. And like you said, Houston with that number 2 pick.
I still say they're going to get a quarterback, bro. They tired of their quarterback situation.
And the thing is this, though, I don't think that Houston would not take a quarterback knowing that at the number 4 spot, you got Indy, who's in the same division, and you're going to let them get a quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
that'd be asking. It'd be a lot of heat going on over there in Houston if they decide to do that. So, but like you said, DC, you never know, man. The draft could be that would change the trajectory of a lot of the picks if they was to make that decision and go ahead and pick Will Anderson instead of the quarterback. Because I think if that was to happen, I think someone would definitely try to make a trade with Arizona to slide up in that 3rd pick to get CJ Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
And that would change a lot of effect as far as, the other quarterbacks behind them. And like you said, the situation with the Lions and Jalen Carter. So I just can't wait till Thursday to see, man. Listen, we're going to be live. DC, what's your plan for Thursday, man? You ain't
Hey, man, we're going to be live as well, man. D313XP. We also going to be live as well on Thursday, man. So
we got everybody going to be live. W3KINGZ is going to be live on there. We're going to have D313XP gonna be live, so actually we probably gonna be hopping back and forth with each other. I might just hop over there.
Man, definitely gonna hop back.
Go crazy a little bit. So
you gotta keep yourself entertained with that many hours.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna get my snacks ready. I'm gonna get my pillows and my cushions ready, man, because my back was howling like a mutt last year. I'm gonna be more prepared. This time I'm gonna be at home, so I should be good and comfortable. Yeah, but we look forward to it, man. Definitely, the draft is where it's at. Thursday, starting at 8 o'clock. I'll probably be on what did you say, King? Like 7? Like get a little pregame.
Getting ready. Yeah, yeah, man.
So just if you guys just keep your notifications up, man. And join with. Listen, we welcome everyone, to W3KINGZ. As you see, DC always hop in. If you guys want to come in and pop in and chill with us and, give y'all a little spill on the draft, you're more than welcome to pop in. Like I said, we'll tag the link so you guys can come in. Make this a fun event for everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I know we talk about times, but I want to dive into a little bit of Pistons talk. We still got this coaching thing we gotta dive into a little bit, man. We need to discuss. I mean, is your fellas ready a little bit?
Yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
All right, so let's take this quick commercial break, and then we're gonna jump into that Pistons talk.
Wow, black-owned shoe store. Culture. My culture, though. Let's see what they talk about in here. What's up, little dog? You good? Y'all got something here for me? I'm talking about exclusive. They got all the dunks? How many dunks they got? Something like these. Y'all got a little vibe in here. They buying shoes, selling shoes, it feels like the culture. They dunking on people. Oh, they doing TikTok. They looking out for the kids. Oh, man, this is great, man. They got all different races working here. It just really feels like culture. You looking for a black-owned shoe store to get some real drip at? Come up here to Culture Detroit, man. That's what the streets been missing. Welcome home, fam.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Culture Detroit, man, for hosting the fight party last night. Your boy Big Willie Styles was at the dinner last night. Me and the fellas from Culture Detroit had a great time last night watching the fight. But we're gonna get into this Pistons talk when it comes to this coaching situation. Now, recently, this past weekend, there was a coach that was released, Nick Nurse from the Toronto Raptors, which created a little bit of buzz. Me and Big A King, we discussed it a little bit. I know DC, you made a distinction in regards to whether or not should the Pistons pursue that of Nick Nurse. Now, me and Big A, we was talking about it, and with Nick Nurse being released and Casey moving up and Nick Nurse being up under Casey, it kind of seemed to be maybe that could be a fit or not, but it's definitely something to inquire about. King, I see you over there shaking your head. So, what's your feel, man?
Yeah, not gonna happen. His name is not even on the list. Definitely not gonna happen. That man probably gonna end up in Houston or somewhere. Him and Dwayne Casey. That's the man who took Dwayne Casey's job. That's who Dwayne Casey got fired for. So that's a little bit different, but the Pistons, they have 3 candidates right now, and they are in no rush. That report came out today. They are in no rush when it comes to the coaching search. So I still got Udoka on my list. But right now, guys like Kevin Ollie, guys like Lee, those are some of the front runners as far as candidates go. But yeah, they are far from done. They got a lot of more interviewing to do when it comes to the head coach position. They're going to take their time. I think they're going to go more of a defensive fashion type of coach. And, that's all I'm asking for. Bring in somebody that's going to put a good enough defense on this floor for us to not go out there and get embarrassed. Because that was embarrassing watching the Pistons, especially what they've been, what we've been experiencing live at the games, not being able to stop a team from doing anything. Bring me some defense in here.
Yeah, but the thing, I know they said they were going to take their time, but taking your time, with other coaching options becoming available may not be a good thing to do, to be able to take your time. So do you feel that we need to have someone in place before that draft lottery comes about?
I think they have their big board, with the stars by who they really are considering. They're gonna do, like I said, they're gonna do some interviews just to do them. They did a few lookouts for some of the staffers, as far as the assistants on the Pistons team. No one, like guys like Rex and them, those aren't real options. They just did a solid for those dudes.
As they should.
Yeah, as they should. So, I think they know who they're going to go after. I think we're definitely going to have that coach before the draft. but you know, they're like they say, they're just not in a rush to make that hire tomorrow or the next day. They're gonna get the guy that they want to bring in here. So my question, and a lot of people say Lee. My only thing with Lee is coming from the Milwaukee Bucks. Man, that team is put together over there. And I just want them to go and get a coach that's proved that they've built something. You know what I'm saying? That they've built something. And I don't want a coach to come over here and be another Matt Patricia situation. You know what I'm saying? You was in a great situation with star players and a great built team, and then you come over here and you struggle.
We guys realize this, King, is that majority of the coaches that we're interviewing coming from organizations that's successful. That's how the coaches become coaches, because the assistant coaches become coaches because they coming from organizations that are known to be successful. It's just that, like you said, we gotta just have the right coach who's going to bring in the right culture. You know, what works over there in Milwaukee is not going to work over here in Detroit. Of course, we know that because we don't have a Giannis over here. So I think that's what the Pistons is going to have to do when they do the vetting process with these coaches. Understand? Listen, we know we're coming from a winning organization, but what do you bring as a coach? Not what worked over in Milwaukee, but what
exactly
you as a coach. And I think that's what's going to decipher who we have as a coach. DC, what you feel, man?
I said, I agree with King's point. And like you said, with the Charles Lee, man, you know, like you see with Darvin Ham, you know, he was in that Milwaukee coaching staff. I mean, he ended up becoming head coach of Lakers, but I mean, that's a different situation because you got LeBron and AD over there. It's not like Darvin Ham just went over to the Lakers with nobody. He went over there with two superstars over there. So it's a different situation if you see get Charles Lee to come over, you know, if he is the head coach of the Pistons, he come over to a young team that's learning, is growing to, you know, to be successful. So there's a difference. But my I say Sam Cassell. I would like to have Sam Cassell come here. And the reason I say this because Sam Cassell, he's been on the dock.
Wait, DC. You with this alien, man.
He's obsessed with him, man.
Go ahead.
The reason why I say Sam Cassell, man, because like, you know, he been under Doc Rivers, you know, been under staff for a long time. He's a champ. He's a two-time champion. He was a good point guard, and he can help Killian and Cade and Jaden Ivey, and I'm quite sure he's gonna get them guys to gonna play some defense. You know, so Sam Cassell is one of the ones that, you know, I would love to have here. You know, like you said, Udoka is another one. I know a lot of you is a popular pick, but it's just, you know, give Sam Cassell a chance. He's been under Doc for a long time.
Rick Fox need to stop making jogging videos on social media, bro. That's
man, he look all out of shape now, man.
He look crazy, man. There, he looked like Hollywood. That's what he looked like.
He need to offset the ugliness. I kind of agree with that, man. Having to watch Sam Cassell be screaming up and down the court, man, is just not something I want to do. It's not appealing, I want to say.
Especially with that voice.
Oh man,
like, bro, I'm not ready for that. We had enough of Stan Van Gundy years ago. I don't want to hear that. No, but I get it. You know, Lee coming from the Bucks defensive team, top defensive team in the league. Udoka, obviously, you see the Celtics. You see what he was able to do over there with Brown and Tatum. You know what I'm saying? When a lot of people wanted them to get traded, but he made it work. You know what I'm saying? Even though Brown it looked like he ready to leave again since he's, you know, but you bring in a Udoka or somebody like Lee from a defensive team, obviously they're going to bring some of them habits with them. Mm-hmm. I just want defense. If you want to bring Sam Cassell, fine. I know they're going to play some defense. I just want a defensive coach.
Yeah, I know you strict on defense there, King, but Big A, man, what's your take on this coaching carousel?
My thing is, you know, when I was speaking on league too. I mean, I know a lot of people say, well, we ain't got a Giannis. I mean, even the same thing with, Udoka over there when he was with the Celtics. We don't have a Tatum over here neither. I just think we. I don't know. I was reading reports. They were saying that Brooklyn passed up on Udoka because of all the negative reports and stuff like that. I mean, that stuff is just going to follow.
They got their nerve.
Yeah, I know, right? I know, right? So I don't know, man. I mean, has the Pistons even scheduled an interview with him? I mean, because I haven't heard nothing about him either.
It's like with Udoka, with the teams that interview him, it just spontaneously come out of nowhere. Like it's no trail or nothing. So it's kind of hard to tell if they even got him on the list or not.
And it's a possibility that they may have already been in contact with him. Like I said, when the season ended and Casey was already, making his move, upwards into the office, to me, I feel like it was some things that was already in the works.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, you got to with the league, you got to do your due diligence. You got to give people interviews, but it's a possibility that they may already got the coach in place, but they just got to go through the whole process. Like we got to make sure we do the interview process to make it look like, we really had other candidates, but it's a strong possibility. And I feel that they already have someone that they want to get. And unless that coach decides to go elsewhere, I think it just be a matter of time before, Pistons announce their new head coach.
Yeah, the way that Troy operate too, you ain't gonna get it's just spontaneous. You ain't gonna get no leaks, man. So we just gotta sit back and wait, man. This man is top secret as James Bond, man.
Listen,
so
and he keep the manila files on some of these coaches and GMs to himself. So I say Troy Weaver is the WAC 100 of the NBA. Always got something on somebody, man. But we're gonna be paying attention, of course, to that. And when that happens and break the news, of course, King, I know you're gonna be jumping on. Of course, W3KINGZ, we're gonna be jumping on as well as DC over there, D313X. We're going to make sure that y'all keep in touch in regards to those news as well. But in the meantime, Big A, I know it's something that you've been wanting to say to DC since we've been on the show. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. Go ahead. What is it, Big A? Oh, God don't like ugly and shut him off. Oh man, he the guy.
I'm back. Remember when I told him, I said, Suns in 5, they might even sweep the Clippers. He told me I was crazy. You keep depending on Kawhi Leonard, man. I don't know what's wrong with you, man.
Hey, listen.
Let me say this.
Go ahead, say it.
Let me say this. First, I was surprised, Kawhi didn't, play game 3, that came out of nowhere. I was surprised. But no, I'm saying because the way he's played the first 2 games, he scored 38 the first game and they won. They scored 31, they lost. But the thing is, the way he's been, and then he had no choice to play a lot of those minutes. So, and then him not playing game 3 was a surprise, but I wasn't surprised he didn't play game 4. And then, like you said, when they played yesterday, man, it was just, they played, they did what they could do, man.
My guy Russell Westbrook did all he could, man.
Yeah,
but it's inevitable that you gotta have more than that dealing with Phoenix, man. They got some firepower, especially when, of course, you got that sniper over there, KD playing the way he playing,
and Devin Booker, and
then you just let CP3 just roam and not have to carry nothing on his back. It's gonna be hard, man. With Phoenix,
you asking for a lot for the Clippers, even though they got the better bench than Phoenix. You asking a lot, other players to step up, and they haven't.
You're still trying to justify anything better being down. But
it's the facts. It's the facts, Big A. It's the facts.
I mean, listen, you gonna need Kawhi church clothes Leonard to be playing out there. That's why I call him.
Yeah, and not having Paul George out there. I mean, what else? Your two best players. What else you going?
When do you ever have Paul George in any playoffs? What do you? Why even count Paul George for the playoffs?
Well, he did go to the Western Conference Finals 2 years ago. Remember when Kawhi got hurt in that second round against Utah? Remember we lost to Phoenix in 6 games in the Western Conference Finals. He was balling. He just
Was he?
But
Yeah.
the common denominator through all of that, like you said, is Kawhi. Kawhi is a superstar. He's the one.
Oh yeah, I forgot. That's when Kawhi sitting up there in the Raptors like he was old boy from the Tyler Perry movie that was in the hood. You know?
He was sitting up there like Sting. You know how Sting used to be in WCW? That's how he was.
Right.
Hey, so I'm give it to you, Big A. You right, man. It's going for 5. It's over, man. I mean,
like I say, man, it's just, dude. I just can't. You just can't bet on Kawhi, bro. And he got the mentality of I'm doing this by myself. I'm done. Like he low management in the playoffs. Like when did he get hurt?
I need to see him.
I didn't even see he get hurt. I didn't see him get hurt.
No, everybody just keeps saying they was like, where did this injury come from? He just don't feel like playing no more.
That's church clothes for you.
Him and Zion at Dunkin' Donuts some damn where. That's
He said, "You hungry? Let's get some donuts."
Hey, Big Willie, man.
What's up?
You go to State survived today, man.
Man,
they did. They did.
Listen, that series
they did.
Is turned out to be a good one, man. Listen, Sacramento is not holding it up, man. With that, the way they can score and De'Aaron Fox and how he goes off, the playoffs as a whole, you know, it's been intriguing. But that series right there definitely is going to show, like I said, with it being tied up, these next 3 games, I believe it may go to 7 or not, but the next game is going to tell that whether or not, you know, it's going to show whether, you know, Golden State, you know, veteran leadership is going to, you know, show up, or is the youth from Sacramento still going to take over, because they're not playing scared, man, at all. They're hunting right now, so that's a good look. Also, you know, you got the situation over there with the Lakers in Memphis now. That's another intriguing one.
What dropped 45?
23 straight in the fourth.
Yeah.
You know, the real team of LA, you know.
Listen, I wouldn't be smiling too much because you already know.
Brooks, that game, thank Brooks for that. In his mouth.
And you can't go poke the bear, man, and you ain't like, come on, man.
LeBron cussed him out before the game. I knew it was going to be a wrap.
Hey, he went up to him just like in Don't Be a Minute. You know you done messed up, right? You know you done messed up, right?
As long as street clothes can stay on the court, LA got a good chance. But you never know. Every game you watch, you gotta hold your breath, cross your fingers, because somehow, some way, Anthony Street Clothes Davis is going to.
Dude, I ain't never seen nobody get hurt on a jump ball, bro.
Right.
On the jump ball, bro.
On the jump ball.
I'm so mad. This man's last name is Davis, bro. It's like
come on, man, come on, sons. It was that movie. It was like a parody movie with the guy. Every time he step on the field, he get hurt. Man. It was one of the parody movies. Like he had stepped on a pistachio and broke both his legs. That's how Anthony Davis is. And also, another one who can't seem to stay their big ass off the ground, Joel Embiid.
Man, Willie, you jinxed him. You've been saying that all series, and now he hurt.
I've been saying it that he too big not to keep on hitting that ground, especially when he get injured. Now they're saying that, of course, the Sixers, swept the Nets, but there's a chance that he might not be ready for the next series.
Hey, can I bring up something though?
Go ahead.
Has this been the most ever beef checks in a playoff series ever?
Yeah.
I was going to get into this whole situation you got with the flagrant fouls. It's like, dude, y'all ain't squaring up no more. Y'all going straight for the man's,
right.
Listen, dude, old boy that did that to Giannis, man. You got to pull somebody off the end of the bench Hey, go earn your check. You want to be on this team next year? I need that dude lumped up, bro. Like simple as that.
Now, my thing is this is big game. Now, you seen the situation with Draymond Green, and they said they felt that it was intentional plus his past experience, and then you see what Embiid did.
Yeah,
to be a little more intent with what Embiid did than what Draymond did.
they was both. Listen, I called you right away, and I just told. I'm like, dude, Embiid just straight kick dog in his jump because he tried to walk over. I called you on that. I'm like, look, like it wasn't no nothing, dude. He straight kicked dude in his jump.
But he didn't get kicked out the game. But James Harden, he did his little push off with the beef check.
And James Harden, he just tapped old boy on the tip.
So to me, it has to be some consistency going on with these calls and these flagrant ones and flagrant twos. But I guess it's star based too, because that one I felt that Embiid should have been kicked out the game for. If they got to be fair around the board, and that one right there, yeah, he tried to send that man to the moon.
Right. Listen, y'all. This is what y'all got to understand. It was a time period in our childhood, me, Big Willie, and Kings, where your family jewels just was not safe, man. Like.
You can literally be talking about the most important thing in the world, and all of a sudden you'll just hear beef check. What?
Dude, you would get beef checked at a funeral, dude. You be walking up there, dude, and somebody would just come out. So,
I'm sorry for your loss.
I'm amazed that I got 5 kids.
Hey, listen, true story, man. I got beef checked to sleep one time. I went we was out hooping, and I went up for a layup, and somebody caught me with a solid beat check. I was up under the rim. I was asleep for a hot minute. Because, man, that pain just rose up. I just had to lay down and clutch over. But,
man, and it's like, dude, you couldn't yarn around the fellas, dude. Like,
oh my God, you
couldn't stretch. You couldn't. If you sleep on your stomach over at somebody's house, like it was traumatic, man.
A lot of pause.
Yeah, it was traumatic,
man. Oh man.
Nah, man. But like I said, for what it's worth, minus the injuries in the playoffs has been pretty solid.
Oh yeah.
Solid, man. But speaking of, when you looking at the Pistons, obviously we got the draft coming. 2 players, man. We excluding Wembanyama. That's only if we get that first pick situation, right? Mm-hmm. But if we exclude that, it's 2 players, man. It's been a lot of back and forth between these two. Not between these two, but between the fan base about these two. And that's Scoop Henderson and obviously Miller. So, man, with that situation, my pick personally, I still go with a guy in Miller simply because we need 3-and-D. We need longer wings. It's what we need. A lot of fans want Scoop. Scoop, obviously athletic. A lot of highlight plays they like to look at. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You're playing for the Ignite. They snatched him and pulled him because he wasn't up to production, and then they decided to bring him back. So with a player in Ivy emerging like he is, like I brought up to y'all earlier with the numbers where you compare him and a guy like Dwayne Wade, they're identical when it comes to stats. With having him already, knowing that Scoop is gonna want to come in and be a guy with the ball in his hands also. That's 3 guys with the ball in their hands. I just don't see how that works. I don't want any more guards. I want wings. I want 3-and-D wings, man. Athletic wings. So that's why I choose Miller.
Listen, I'm with you on that one, King. And like I said, we don't get the number 1 pick, which is Wemby. Yeah, I'm on the Miller train too. I think his versatility would definitely help this organization. Situation with Scoop, having that many ball handlers. Like we put us in a situation like Sacramento was in when they had too many ball handlers over there. So definitely those 3. And if if they're outside the if the lottery guys do us disservices and put us outside of the top 3, I honestly feel like we need to go ahead and trade that pick and get some assets. The main thing I feel like we need is
ain't no trade, no lottery pick, dude.
Nah.
Especially no top 3.
Now I said outside of the top 3. If we get outside that top 3, because look who's behind the top 3. It's really not.
Yeah, this is probably one of the worst draft classes.
Because the drop off is crazy.
Exactly.
It is. It's
so why not? Yeah, let somebody else have that headache, and we can trade either like money or get some veteran assets that we need. We need to solidify that bench with some solid playmaking veterans. We need that on this team, and I think that's what we're lacking. And if, like I said, we don't get that top 3, let's look towards making that move.
Yeah, like I said, we at a point where you outside the top 3 is just like, man, I mean, we're at a point where we just need guys to add guys that's going to do a service to this team. We know who numero uno is. We've obviously seen who number 2 is going to be. Then you got Durant, who's also one that a lot of people look at as a future star in the making type of guy. So, like I said, we're not going to get the guy to hit the reset button to find numero uno. We need to go and get somebody that's going to come in and contribute to what we need them to contribute to. That's just where we at right now, because we have that. You got free agency to add guys that's going to take you to that next level. So if we fall outside the top 3, it's just like, ugh, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do now? You know what I'm saying?
It's good. It's good guys out there, but it's not nobody that's
like
standing out. That
and then that drafting them in that position, you draft them at 4 or 5, something like that situation. And looking at the scale of these guys, it's probably going to take a couple of years or so before these guys get to where the fan base would like them to be. Now you drafting another high guy, and now he's going to get a lot of flack because he's not what the fan base. Listen, we follow sports, we do sports, but when you talk about fan bases, they're casuals mostly. So how is that reaction going to be? You know what I'm saying? Is this guy going to start off in, outside the rotation on the bench? You drafting him that high, all of those things are going to start to come out. Even though it's petty, all of those things are going to start to come out.
And that's a fair assessment, King. It was, like I said, because normally when you're drafting in the top 5, you're drafting a guy to start. But looking at the way the Pistons are set up, you already know you got your guards. So that's not going to change. So it's either going to be, one of the wing positions or the center position. And like you said, you got a Durant. That's looking like he's going to be a starter to make it. I don't see us drafting no other center. So it's going to be somebody in one of the wing positions. And then you got Bogey. Said Bogey is going to make that transition to the bench, playing how he was playing last season. You need somebody with firepower. I think eventually you will want it to where Bogey can move to the bench and the young guy come in and start, but to start off right off the top, I don't think any of those guys, if it's not going to be Wemby, I don't think any of the other guys we draft is going to come off starting off the top, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. And then you look at a situation where you look up and down the roster, a couple of guys that's not going to be there. Most likely Corey Joseph, Hamidou Diallo.
They say Hamidou sold his house already.
Not only Marvin Bagley has too. Which is kind of weird. Like, do you know you're gonna get traded?
I don't know why you even bought a house in the first place. You only signed a 3-year contract,
right? You know what I'm saying? And then listen. Gotta be careful with that. Wiseman is Wiseman. I think was brought here to be a chip to make another move. To be honest, I honestly do believe that. So, obviously there's still the reports out there about trying to bring back a guy in Jeremy Grant too. So it's so many things that they can do. This draft lottery is humongous for the Pistons when it comes to next steps, because that's where you can say, okay, this is what we do. This is what we do. That's what we do. So if we do, if we get Wembanyama, obviously the city of Detroit is going to explode. But explode. So, but If you don't get him and you fall outside that top 3, man, you bring in a guy that's you can stash and sit on the bench and bring off the bench or whatever. You know, I mean, what else can you do with that? You got to accept that. You just have to accept that.
Yeah. And I feel like it, to be honest with you, King, I think it all depends on what the new head coach vision is.
Yeah.
So, you know, we can only speculate right now because we're going off of what we had going on in the past, but it all right now to me is contingent upon what coach we get, and I think the domino effect after that is going to show as far as, you know, with us doing the draft and the free agency. So we're in this wait and see process. And the first step right now, I think the first thing that's got to come along is we got to get that head coach in here, and then what type of head coach we get in here, I think we know what the type of moves this franchise and Troy Weaver is going to make during this offseason. Because like I said, we got some cap space availability, and we got some asses that we can trade either before the draft or during the draft and even after the draft. So it's going to be interesting offseason, of course, that, you know, we're looking forward to seeing, and hopefully, you know, these moves is going to be made for the better. Because like I said, I can't sit through another season like we did last year.
Now, Willie, it's a big topic that's been out there, and it's not so much that it's Pistons. This topic has been also hot. You heard the chants during the Atlanta Hawks game of Trae Young being overrated. This has been a hot topic over the last week. I've always felt this way. I feel like he's another one of those players that I despise, that it's all about living and dying by shooting 3-pointers, that can't check a box on a sheet of paper. And Atlanta Hawks is finding that out the hard way. You need guys that can also defend, and he's getting picked on when it comes to that. So yeah, he can give you 30-40 points easy, right? But what else? What else? And they're taking L's. That team over there is the way the team is structured over there. They're just not a defensive-minded team, and they're about to get put out by the Celtics. So, being overrated, do you think that Trae Young is a player that's overrated, that gets a little bit too much of the glam and the spotlight when he's literally just a guy that's a shooter?
I don't think he's overrated. I think that because he came in and had early on success, I think people had the expectations was higher than what it's supposed to be. You know, it's like you got to put him in the same boat, and maybe a little less than Luka. You know, Luka, they both basically traded for each other.
Yes.
And the thing with Trae Young, you knew defensively he was going to be a liability because he's a small guy. He wasn't
small.
Supposed to be
Luka just lazy.
Luka just big and just don't want to exert that effort. So you have to, as a franchise, you got to be able to compensate for that. You knew going in that this small guy was going to be.
That's my thing, and that's what I was about to go to, Willie. Like you blaming a guy for what you already knew he was. Yeah. He's been this way since high school. He's been this way since college. He's been this way since the NBA. And even if you would have drafted Luka, it would have been the same thing. No defense. Yeah. At least Trae moves without the ball. Luka don't do nothing.
No.
Yeah. And he's high on making assists. You know, he made it. It's like the thing with I see with Trae Young, he wasn't obviously supposed to be here. I think the way the game is fit now, because everybody's shooting from half court, it's open chances. You can't hand check anymore. The defense is not allowed to be able to be handsy as it was before. It allowed him to be available in this league, you know. But like you said, it's coming back on him when it comes to playoff time because things lock in. And if you don't have that second option or like a big man to help counteract that, it's going to be trouble. So as far as the overrated goes, I don't think so. I think he may have overachieved early, in my opinion. The overrated, no. Like, guy who can shoot like that, you can't call him overrated.
So yeah, and I want to, pull this into this point, with Trae Young. This league is going back towards defense. Offense is always going to be a part of this league now with the range and the shooting, but teams now, the successful teams are top defensive teams. And this all offensive thing that originated on the West Coast is just not working anymore. It's not working for these guys, man. We talking about Luka outside the playoffs right now, watching, drinking dillies, just like we said he do before games. You know what I'm saying? So all the highlights and flashy and 3-point shooter, I get it. It's cute, it's pretty, but if you ain't gonna play no D, your team is gonna be on the outside looking in, or you're gonna go and get swept in the playoff series. That's just what it is. Now, smaller guards, I never really was a fan of doing, because I seen a long time ago that the league was getting bigger and bigger and bigger at guards. We have big guards on the Pistons. Trae Young, small. But then what I was tying this into was Scoot Henderson. Scoot Henderson is 6'2", small, compared to a lot of these 6'5", 6'6" point guards that's in the league now. He's already been pulled during his season. He was already rated terribly on defense. Do you want to bring that? You know what I'm saying? A smaller guard that's already being rated bad for defense. I don't think I want that. That's why I said I would go with Miller.
I want to say this answer to the question about Trae Young, is he overrated? I think he is overrated. This in fact, the man doesn't play defense. And, you know, since he came into the league, even he was in Oklahoma, he didn't play defense. He's a scorer. You look at the situation now, like they traded for DeJounte Murray, you know, and DeJounte Murray, at least the guy, he's going to play some defense at times. And he can push the rock and handle the ball. I won't be surprised that Trae Young won't be an Atlanta Hawk next year, and DeJounte Murray be taking over that team. And then too, you got to look, Trae Young, he's been nicked up with injuries at times as well. So that's another thing. You know, he's one of those guards that he's going to beat up on teams that you're supposed to beat. But when it comes to teams that are good teams, he doesn't show up. And that's, you know, he's like I said, he's a small guard. He's a great 3-point shooter. He's not, of course, he's not a Steph. Ain't nobody's gonna be Steph. Even Steph is somewhat. Some people call Steph a small guard. I don't think he's a small guard, but you know, at least at times Steph is gonna play. Even though Steph Curry's not a defensive player, but he's gonna try.
Yeah, he'll definitely.
Trae Young don't try. So
I wouldn't say that Trae Young is not trying. I just think that it's too difficult. Yeah, it's too difficult for him. Like being at that size, he's not only short, but he's a real frail guy. It's gonna be hard regardless for him to play defense and stay in front of the guy, especially like you said with the guards that we got now with the size that they got. So it was going to be a liability, you know, regardless. That was the risk reward when you drafted a Trae Young. Was the size, but the fact of the matter is that he came in and had early on success, and Atlanta made the playoffs. Then the second year that he was drafted, made it to where we can work around that and put it all involves around putting, you know, saying make sure that you got enough of where he's lacking, and that's what Atlanta needs to do is make sure they could take off of where he's lacking. To where they can be a success, because everybody felt like when he came in and he wrecked New York in the playoffs on their home court, I mean, it was up there from there. But as you see, they're struggling in the later seeds, and you know, of course, they play up against Boston, which everybody on Boston is big guard wise, and you know where's his help coming in at. So, like I said, it was going to be. I don't think, to me, I wasn't expecting Trae Young to even be this good in the league, to be honest with you, because of his size. But the fact of the matter is that he showed this much right now. Hey, listen, I don't know what else did you expect. Y'all got to, as a franchise, build around that and help him out.
And you know, like I said, it's a tough situation for the Hawks. It puts them in a situation where it's like, you know, we like Trae Young, but is he a player that's going to win us playoff series? And I just don't think he is. I honestly don't think he is, man.
I think he can if he gets a real good down low post guy. I think he can, but I don't think he has it to where he could carry a team. I don't see that, especially in playoffs. He gonna need somebody to take off the load to where if they take on part of that load, he's just free to roam. You don't want that guy roaming around. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times people checking him 2 or 3, make sure they get him before he crosses half court. But if you got a big down there that's causing havoc, you can't keep paying attention to Trae Young as much, in which is going to allow him to be free. And that's not a guy you want to be free roaming.
No. And I'll say this too, man. John Collins, man. John Collins, he's a good stretch forward, but he's inconsistent. He's supposed to be your second best player on the team. And he's been inconsistent at times. But you see, that's a good game
because he's outmatched, because he's undersized at times.
Looking at that would be, I think that can be a great fit. You know, if they don't, if the Hornets don't, re-sign Bridges, that could definitely be a fit that they can use over there. But it ain't up to us to be getting Atlanta help. We need help in Detroit.
Yeah, right.
Help over here.
Hey, bring Sadiq back.
Yeah, he's back in his role over there. And I like that. He's back in his role. 3, play some defense. Simple and plain. Don't go out there and try to do all of this extra stuff. Like I said, he's in this role over there.
I like what Quinn Snyder doing.
Yeah,
I like what he's doing with him.
The only reason Sadiq Bey is not still in the Pistons jersey is because of his agent. That's why. And I can guarantee you that.
I think the agent outpriced Sadiq.
Yes, his agent is the reason why he's not here.
Yeah, I think that was an issue right there. I think he outpriced him. But that's part of the business. So we just roll with it, man. But this playoffs, these playoffs have been pretty exciting, man. I'm enjoying these playoffs, man. Despite the injuries, man, I wish there was. And like I said, with the Kawhi situation and these are the top guys that we come to see. I don't want there to be no what ifs going into whoever wins the championship, or this team won it because such and such was out. Like I said, I don't want there to be no excuse that Phoenix got past the Clippers because Kawhi was out, even though that is a legitimate reason. But I don't want no easy pathways to the championship. I don't want no excuses. I want everybody healthy and may the best team win. And
I got a question. Do y'all think the Denver Nuggets are overrated?
No. And if Bubble Murray keep playing like Bubble Murray,
I think that honestly, I think this is their year. Honestly, do. This is win it or bust.
I'm telling you, if Bubble Murray keep playing like Bubble Murray, they need. I said this, and I was talking with, I was arguing with Big A about it. In order for like you saying, the changeover of the league, as far as being this shooting happy small ball league, we need one of these legitimate bigs to win. And what I mean by bigs, I mean the Embiid or the Jokic, one of the dominant ones to win this championship, so we could change over. Everybody, of course, I think Embiid is going to be the MVP of the season, but he can't stay healthy and stay his big ass off the ground.
Yeah.
You got Jokic over there, who's possibly could be a 3-time MVP, but hasn't sniffed, the finals yet. We need one of them 2 guys, in my opinion, in order for this to transition over to where we get more respectable big men and guys who want to play big. We need one of them 2 to win it. And if Jokic and Denver do it, I can see the changing of the guards when it comes to how the league is going to go forth in the future. But we need one of them 2, man. And not just one of them 2, even Giannis again. If Giannis winning again, that's another one where we can say, okay, yeah, we getting away from that small ball. These bigs are dominant, but we need them 3. We need them 3 bigs to go ahead and win in dominating fashion.
I always felt like that was a myth, and I think it's dead now. I think small ball is dead now because you look at some of the top teams, they all got bigs, all of them, every single one of them. That's top teams out there. So I think it's been dead since the Golden State days.
But they have to win. That's the thing. Yeah. We see all these bigs. You got Anthony Davis is, to be honest with you, and this is why I might knock on Anthony Davis, because everybody praises Anthony Davis so much. Anthony Davis is supposed to be the dominant big man in this league right now.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be over the Jokic and Embiid and Giannis. Giannis took what Anthony Davis was supposed to be. Ain't no way. If you're thinking about the Lakers right now, who would you say is the top player on the Lakers right now? It's still LeBron James. Anthony Davis is supposed to take over for LeBron James after they won in the bubble. LeBron James is supposed to be sitting back and kicking it, and Anthony Davis is supposed to be, taking on the reins, but you haven't seen that yet. And that's why I think what slowed down this process is him, in my opinion. But we need Anthony Davis to be dominating these playoffs. And if the Lakers win, it should be because of him. We need a Jokic to win, and if Denver win and Jokic dominate, we need that. If Embiid and the Philadelphia Sixers go to the finals and they win it, I need for him to be that most valuable player. I need these bigs to be most valuable because that would make teams like, listen, we got to contest against these guys. So we're going to have to draft differently. We're going to have to play differently. And that will eliminate officially, in my opinion, that small ball stuff. If one of them big guys, the dominant big ones, not just a guy on the team that's big, one of them dominant big guys win it all.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And that's the truth.
Hey, New York Knicks, man. I know they play in Cleveland. They the young Cleveland team, but New York Knicks they playing some pretty good ball, man. They're gonna take care of Cleveland.
They playing some good first round ball.
Hey, listen, they ain't been out the first round in decades. So you know what I'm saying? If they get past the first round, I think that's their championship.
That's their achievement because they gonna get their ass whooped.
A guy over there that a few folks have brushed over a clown. He over there balling pretty good. Somebody, I feel like, we should have took a stab at a free agency. But he over there doing it over there with the next year. My guy Jalen Brunson, but I'm just saying.
Man, listen, they about to get their ass toe up in the next round.
It's possible.
No, it ain't possible what's gonna happen.
They will. Milwaukee got to get past Miami. Giannis got to stay healthy. That's another thing. Is the injury. The big guys, they got to be healthy. Giannis is the key factor in all this. He's dinged up too.
Wasn't nobody scared of Cleveland.
I agree. Yeah.
Especially
a young and up and coming team. But
yeah,
it's just back to my point. I need my bigs to win this thing, man.
So King, I'm gonna ask you this: if New York wins, of course they're gonna win the series against Cleveland. If Miami is to beat Miami is to beat Milwaukee, who gonna win that series between New York and Miami? If that goes that route,
it's still two teams. I feel like, Miami obviously will only win because of the situation. So it's still like I still would be impressed. You lucked up. Miami took advantage of one of the best players in the league not being available. That would be the situation.
That's my point about this whole players. I don't want none of that.
Yeah.
I don't want none of that. Well, you got there because, like you said, the best players was hurt and down. I don't want nobody. Ain't no way Miami should be able to get to no Eastern Conference Finals, in my opinion.
At all.
But if they can get past Milwaukee and then somebody in New York, that's a toss up. And if Embiid is hurt and then that makes it an easier pathway for Boston to get there.
You're gonna have a Toronto Raptors championship all over again.
Thank you. And that's what I'm trying to avoid.
And people are gonna be like, oh well, this team is that, this and that. Is gonna be false. It's
gonna be hashtags and all. Listen. That's what I don't want. So hopefully, these guys get healthy enough to get back in these series and make these playoffs worthwhile, man. And I'm praying on these big men to get healthy, man. And got to stay your big ass off the ground, man. Please stay off. That flopping stuff, let it go. Let it go, man. Stay off the ground. Be big. Be strong. Stop that. Because you hurt me.
What do you do if you're a Philly and you do lose out? Like at some point, you gotta. What do you do?
Where's James Harden? James Harden was a former MVP. Where is he at?
Man, he trying to go back to Houston, man, so he can go chuck up shots and not play defense and do what he do and take L's over there in Houston.
I tell you this, Doc Rivers probably be gone if they don't even make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. He's been there, and they hadn't even sniff at Eastern Conference Finals. They be getting knocked out in the second round. If Philly doesn't get in the Eastern Conference Finals, at least Doc Rivers might be gone.
That's a strong possibility. You know, they did bring him over there to get him over that hump, and them not making it out of these first 2 rounds, at least, you know, sniffing a chance to get to the NBA Finals. You might have a point there, Daryl.
Yeah.
Man, like I said, I just don't want a bunch of woulda, coulda, shoulda been, and all of this stuff going on, man. Like these dudes, they need to get it together, you know, to be available, man. You know, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi not.
Kawhi church clothes Leonard.
Kawhi not.
He's cousins with Anthony Street Clothes Davis.
Right.
Sorry, DC, man, we had to do it to you, man.
Hey, so I want to get back with the Pistons right quick. I think getting Brandon Miller, I think it'd be the first 3-and-D guy, that small forward we had since Tayshaun Prince.
I don't want to just say 3-and-D because, like I said, watching his film, he can create his own shot. He knows how to. I watch this guy constantly snake guys and get to the basket. He knows how to get to the basket. He knows how to create his own shot. He knows how to work the mid range. It's not like he's just 3-and-D. On this team, his role probably would be more of a 3-and-D guy, but he can do more than that. So I don't want to limit him.
Honestly, I don't see him as a 3-and-D. Because, like you said, because he's the ability to create his shot and get to the rack, his 3-point game isn't his strongest suit.
No,
it's his ability to get in, and that's what we need. We don't need no more 3 guys. We need some guys that can create some havoc in that paint and get into it. Like you know, you got your Ivy that can get in there. You got K when he was playing, he can get in there too. You need that wing that can create some havoc in that paint. That mid-range game is where it's at, and the 3 will come. Let's get that mid-range, and that's what Miller brings. He brings that mid to getting into that paint type of game, and which will open it up for other guys who can go out there on the 3-point line that you prefer. You prefer more of a Cade or a Bogey to be out there on the 3. If he can create that habit to draw the defenses in. And also, it helps the bigs, too, because if he sucks into some of those bigs, they got to come out there and try to check him when he's driving. We got some and-one options. We got some assist options. So I see him more of a Swiss Army knife, Miller.
He's a Troy Weaver type of guy. That's what I see. He's a Troy Weaver type of player. And
I'm leaning towards him. If it's, like I said, if it's not, I'm praying that, like I said, not praying, but if it's not Wemby, like I said, Miller to me is a better fit than if we, didn't scoop.
Now, do y'all see? I know it's been rumors going out there. Do y'all see Kyle Kuzma coming here?
No, not gonna happen.
Yeah.
You can stay his ass where he at. I don't want Kyle Kuzma. It's not at this point in his career. Kyle Kuzma can stay where he is, bro. Once again, I need some defense.
Yeah.
Period. I don't need you bringing that light skin here to Detroit. I need defense. It's simple and plain, bro. I'm tired of watching my team get put 140 get put on my team, bro.
Yeah, man.
I need defense. So somebody got to stop the ball. We had 2 defensive players on the entire goddamn team last season. I'm tired of that.
Yeah. We need way more than that, man.
Yeah.
We need way more than that.
When you look at it statistically, you only had 2 actual defenders on this goddamn team.
Listen, I ain't turned down no talent. To be honest with you, listen, I know King is hard on this defense game, but listen, talent is talent. It's hard to come by in the league that, you got talent that's willing to come into Detroit. So if it's an opportunity for anybody that got talent, I'm here for it. Now, for him to come in to be a starter, I don't know if he's coming in to be off the bench, of course, but I know Kyle Kuzma, he's going to go to where he's going to be starting. So that'll probably be why he wouldn't be a fit. Because like I said, we want the young guys to work their way to be starting. But they're not ready.
Whose spot are you going to take? It ain't Bojan.
Right, exactly.
So,
It's not, and the
why
other
bring
side is either Stewart or Bagley, who's ever on the other side. Stewart not playing the center position.
Right.
Yeah. Well, he will never play the center again. He'll be like 4.
Well, I wouldn't
That's
say
fine.
never. I wouldn't say never.
No, he ain't playing the center no more.
Never. I wouldn't say that. We might need him. Just I'm knocking wood. I'm barring any injuries. I wouldn't. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't say never. I would say this. He'll play some spot center.
Yeah.
It depends on the matchups. It just somebody go.
Yeah, I wouldn't put
matchups.
him there, especially when you got the likes of Wiseman and Durant. If we keeping them two guys there, there's no need for him to play center.
Yeah.
He shit. I just don't see a guy like Kuzma coming here taking nobody's spot. Now, a guy like Jeremy Grant, that's a different story. Because Jeremy Grant can average just as many points. He averaged more points than Bojan this season, but he also plays the other side of the basketball. So, only person I can see that come here and you bring in a free agency or something like that is Jeremy Grant, that can actually get a spot, when it comes to that starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Would
the
you like
the only one that I could see at that position that can supplant Bojan, simply because he offers more than Bojan does. Bojan is another guy that can't check a mark on a goddamn piece of paper. So yeah, he shoots and he spreads the floor like a motherfucker. And when we get Cade back, listen, it's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be nice. But some night you just need to lock down on that wing.
But the thing, he's not like you said, he's not a lockdown guy. I think he's Bogey's a more team defensive guy. Like I said, the scout report when he came over there, he's a good defender, but he's not a lockdown defender. And I think what the problem with the Pistons and what you're gearing to is that, to be honest with you, like you said, it was only 1-2 guys that you can count on for defense. That's not a player thing. I think that's a team thing, in my opinion. Like communication, help defense. You got to play all of that. It ain't just one-on-one in this league, especially how the league is going now with these guys, the way they're shooting. And you're going to need more than just a guy that can lock up a guy. You got to have a guy that come over to help. You got guys that be able to block. You need all of it. And the main thing is that you need communication. And with communication, you need time. And you need everybody to be available. Everybody needs to be available.
And effort. You need effort.
That's the key.
I see a lot of goddamn running from Bojan Q out on the court. I seen a lot of running from him live in some of them games.
But in that season, who's really putting, when you know the season is done, who's really going to put up an effort when you know it's a losing effort? We ain't out here trying to win.
What I'm saying, these guys that we have, they're not defensive. He's not defensive. Bagley's never been a defensive guy. Hell, Wiseman's not a defensive guy.
But
he's an offensive-minded guy.
That's when you get guys to counteract that. Those are the offensive guys. We need to counteract that to get some defensive guys. But the thing is this, you're gonna get guys that play defense, but offensively it's kind of like I said, we had what's the name here? That we got rid of playing center. Who was that?
You talking about Christian Wood?
No. He was there last year. I don't know why it's escaping my head right now. We bought him out.
Huh?
The center. I can't think of his name. It's on we bought him out during the trade deadline. Couldn't shoot for nothing, but he can play. He can block shots.
What are you talking about?
See, you forgot that quick too. Who we had at center?
So this past season,
Yeah.
Nerlens Noel.
There it is, Nerlens Noel.
Oh shit! He couldn't even block shots either.
But he was a defensive guy, right? But offensively, you seen the way he shoot? Oh my god! And that's the trade-off. You like, oh my god, did you see? Like he can't make a hook shot, a layup.
Man,
Man can't stay healthy.
I probably seen Noel block one shot since he was here.
You talking about the first go around, the second go around, because he was here once before.
Yeah.
But he's supposed to be the defensive presence. That was what he was known for. But it's a trade-off. So you're gonna have guys that's offense, and you have guys that's better on defense. If we can get that balance, we can be a dangerous team.
You got to. That's what Boston is. That's what Boston is.
Most definitely. But like you said, it's even with the guys that can score, like you said, it's going to take effort. And I think a lot of last year wasn't because we knew we wasn't going, like, you're going to play hard if you know you got something to play for. But defensively, you know you're going to have to lock in because you're playing for a better record. You're playing for position in the playoffs. That defensive mentality is going to increase. But you know you only win in 15 games. I'm not about to go out here and kill myself on defense. Let's be honest. I'm not about to do it. And I know I can put up 20 points. I'm just going to get these 20, 25 points. And hopefully that'll be enough to get us close in the game. May not be a victory, but nobody's really looking for a victory. And nobody's really looking to play defense when you fit 15 and 60.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're going to change that this season, man. I'm looking forward to it. Hey, man, we've been on this thing for a minute now, man. It's been a pretty good discussion once again, man. So we're going to have some final thoughts, man. So, DC, being that you're a guest, man, you got any final thoughts for us, man?
Man, final thoughts, man. Waiting for this draft, man. It's going to be fun, man. Thursday, I can't wait, man. Definitely going to be, sitting watching y'all, man. Will y'all be live Thursday? I'm going to be live. Say D313XP, man. We're gonna be live Thursday, so make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe to our channel, man. Follow our Facebook and our Instagram page as well. Drop as consistent content much as possible, man. So man, so I'm ready for this draft. Like I said, with the Pistons, man, Troy Weaver taking his time, his coaching search. Don't need to rush it, try to get the right person for the right fit. So yeah, man, these NBA playoffs are exciting, except for one series, Denver and Minnesota. Minnesota should get swept. But yeah, man, it's exciting, man. Yeah, definitely looking forward to it, man. Look forward to the draft, look forward to these playoffs, man. So and Tigers, man, keep your head up, man. You got swept by Baltimore. Keep your head up, man. It's still early. We're only 4 games back from the division. Our division is terrible. Keep your head up.
Yeah, it's been up and down, but yeah, definitely look forward to some Tigers action. King, final thoughts.
Draft. That's all, man. Pistons, Lions. Let's get this shit cracking. You know what I'm saying? Lions this week is time. And like I said, after the playoffs and everything, we looking at the Pistons. So these 2 drafts are humongous for both of these GMs. Shout out to both GMs, Troy Weaver and Brad Holmes, those 2 being colorful GMs and doing the job that they're doing is impressive, very impressive. So yeah, draft.
Indeed, and like I said before, with the Lions and the Pistons, this has to be the most important offseason for both franchises for their future. So like I said, we look forward to the coaching situation with the Pistons and the draft lottery, free agency, and the draft, of course. And of course, this upcoming Thursday, we look forward to seeing what the Lions got in store for us. Of course, we 3 Kings will be live, sharing along with you guys, getting the excitement along with you guys. So I look forward to being on again, man, and sharing that experience once again. So if you guys, want to be available, come on over, man. Join us, have fun. But as for right now, enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your night. We 3 Kings out.
Pause. A lot of pause.